the Diversity Committee to order. Good morning. Are there any public comments to be made?
Yes, there's five speakers.
There are five members of the public wishing to make comment. Please call them.
The first one is Bill Howe, president of Howe Industries.
Good morning. My name is Bill Howell, and I'm the president of Howell Industries, a 30-year-old minority business located in Brooklyn. I am a member of the Minority Business Advisory Council and a long-time advocate for minority and women-owned business in New York. This is the first MTA Board meeting under Acting Chairman Freddie Ferrer, and I am very pleased to welcome him to this position and to thank him for his staunch support of minority and women business participation at the MTA. I also want to thank Dr. Susan Metzger for, under her leadership as head of the Diversity Committee, the MTA MWBE program has been allowed to grow and to achieve this amazing turnabout in participation. Just a few years ago, minority and women businesses complained about the lack of opportunities at the MTA. That has dramatically changed. And thanks to Michael Garner, MTA Chief Diversity Officer, who has been the driving force for inclusion at the MTA through the Small Business Mentor Program and the new Federal Business Mentor Program. Since Mike came to the MTA, the paradigm has changed. The MTA is viewed now in the community as being open and fair. There has been a cultural change that says everyone is important from top to bottom and deserves an opportunity. There's also recognition that expanding the pool of businesses increases competition and is good for the MTA as well. Finally, I encourage the board to make sure that small, minority, and women business continue to expand their participation, particularly in the $10 billion Sandy relief effort. Thank you.
Next speaker is Liz of Liz.
Thank you, and good morning. I want to echo Bill Howell's comments. Thank you, Bill, for welcoming Mr. Ferrer, Freddie Ferrer, on board, the Honorable Freddie Ferrer. And I also want to echo Mike's comments with regard to Mike Garner. Mike, you really have opened the doors for minority and women-owned businesses at the MTA. Velez Organization is a company established over 40 years by my father, Andrew, and we've done work in various federal, state, and city agencies. We've stayed away from the MTA because we didn't think that there were opportunities here. And I'm so glad that you have really opened the doors and publicly opened the doors, as well as the board should be applauded for their work with this. My comments are going to focus a little bit on Hurricane Sandy and the anticipated contracts that might result as you go through your repair program. We, Bill Howell, many of the folks that are sitting here today that you're going to be talking to today, met with New York City in the early days following Hurricane Sandy. Such a disastrous storm, had such disastrous effects on our city and on the homes and on the residents of the city of New York. And we wanted to make sure, in meeting with the city of New York, that 9/11 did not happen again. And when I say that, I mean with 9/11, the repair work and the rebuilding work that happened was largely done without, not largely, was done completely without minority and women business involvement under the guise of emergency repair. We want to make sure that that doesn't happen here with any work that you might be going forward to with the MTA. We met with the city very early on as a consortium, and we felt victorious in a little bit of a way, because the city's procurement language, their emergency procurement language, it did include, ultimately included, some language of inclusion for minority and women-owned businesses. We didn't think it went far enough, but we privately rallied. Yay, we were in there. We weren't in there before. In addition, the city, in going forward on their rapid repair program, did include in their second and third round for rapid repairs minority and women-owned businesses on their selective bidders list. I'm pleased to report that the Velez Organization was included as on their selective bidders list, as well as Padilla Construction. And what we did was we responded. We responded to the rapid repair program. We were one of the 12 firms that were on the short list. Only 3 firms responded. There was a 24-hour response period of time. And we just broke all records, putting together an effective response that addressed the repairs that were needed, that addressed the working capital that was needed, that addressed the serious concerns of the repair program. We responded as a consortium. We responded as a joint venture, Padilla and Velez. But more than that, we reached behind us and with us to include many of the folks that are in this room as part of a wonderful group of qualified, experienced minority and women-owned businesses. Now, we're the city elected to choose firms from Atlanta and Louisiana to complete the rapid repair work under the second and the third rounds. We felt victorious again because we did have a seat at the table and we were able to respond accordingly. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today and wish you luck, especially Chairman Ferrer, in your new endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is going to be Tim Marshall, President and CEO of JBRC.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Mr. Chairman, I want to join in welcoming you. We know of your distinguished history and leadership, and we are excited about what is to come under your leadership of this Diversity Committee and the work at the MTA. Also, good morning, members of the board and staff and distinguished guests. My name is Timothy Marshall. I am President and CEO of the Jamaica Business Resource Center, which was founded by President Clinton 18 years ago to be a national small business pilot program. And I also come here as an executive board member of the Minority Business Leadership Council, a coalition of 15 leading minority business organizations throughout downstate New York. We come here today to salute and pay tribute to the wonderful work of your mentor protege program under the leadership of Mr. Michael Garner and the MTA staff, and the dedication and wonderful leadership of a quiet heroine here who worked with Mr. Garner in revamping and relaunching this program to be what it is today. She's worked very quietly and assiduously behind the scenes, Dr. Susan Metzger. So we want you to know that we're grateful for all that you have done, and you have helped to lay a foundation for a great future. We're assembled here at a time when our city and nation are slowly emerging from a catastrophic economic recession and most recently a catastrophic natural disaster, Superstorm Sandy. We're all in a period of recovery and rebuild. And it is in that context that your mentor program has never been more critical. The turnaround of your program, which was once honestly not respected or taken seriously, is now one in which we all support and take ownership, and that is no small feat. The new MTA culture, which is built in accountability and involvement by every aspect of this vast organization, is now producing meaningful and measurable results. Under the excellent leadership of Chairman Ferrer, we're confident that the economic landscape for communities of color and women will even be brighter as relates to both business and job opportunities. So our entire MWBE leadership in New York look forward to working with you, Chairman Ferrer, the board, and this excellent staff who does day in and day out incredible work. And we want you to know that your work does not go unnoticed. We appreciate everything that you are doing as well. Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Michael Fife from LIRR.
I'm sorry, I signed in up front. I don't have a presentation.
Let me just thank them for the excellent MWDB conference that they gave 2 weeks ago. There were more than 200 MWBEs in attendance, and they learned about how to do business at LIRR. The second one is going to be in Suffolk County next month. Next speaker is Monica Foster, who is the president of the New York State Association of Minority Contractors.
Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to thank Dr. Susan Metzger for her great leadership, and I would also like to welcome the new acting chairman, the Honorable Fernando Ferreira, and I know you will do a great job because you did all during your years in the Bronx. You have always done a good job, so I know we have good support at this MTA. Now, for someone who has been fortunate enough to work at the MTA. As a matter of fact, I worked on the stimulus, the very first stimulus package that came to the MTA. I've worked there. I want to take the time to commend the staff. You guys do a great job. You're one of the agencies that don't just see to it that you work, but you see to it that we get paid. And that is something to be commended. So I want to take the time to thank the staff. Okay? And I also want to thank you for the staff for everything you do for the minority community, the minority and women-owned business community. I hope that you will continue to do the same good work, and especially with the Sandy rebuilding of the Sandy programs. The minority contractors are having a very difficult time right now. We have been through such a great recession, that's what I call it. However, where some of us are still hanging in there, and we hope that the MTA will continue to support the diversity programs, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Sandra Wilkins, president of Bradford Construction.
Good morning, everyone. Sandra Wilkin, president of Bradford Construction, and very honored to be President Emeritus of Women Builders Council. We had the opportunity when Michael Gardner first came to the MTA, and quite frankly took the MTA by storm. The MTA diversity program, as you heard from the leadership of the MWBE community, is often led by the vision that Michael brings to the authority here. And his vision has kept us in good stride and has, quite frankly, changed the culture of doing business with the MTA. We, as a community here, understand that it is so important that small business is given the opportunity to work with the MTA. You will find that working with small business, the innovation and the creativity that entrepreneurs bring to the table. We were here, I was honored to be here when the very first meeting of the Diversity Committee, and the strength and the direction that is now taking place. There has been an incredible leadership once again with Dr. Susan Metzger. Dr. Metzger, you have been a guiding light and a wonderful mentor to me and to the direction of the MTA, and of course with Chairman Ferrer. We hope and we know that the focus will be on small business that's here. We have all been through a terrible and horrific situation, and as a community and as individuals with Superstorm Sandy, I see in my business and many of the other businesses how difficult Superstorm Sandy has affected their business that's here. But as you heard, there is an overwhelming need to put together a program that will include MWBEs. I know that often you hear the word DBE. We need to take that word disadvantage out of the definition of what we can do. And we're ready, willing, and not disabled or disadvantaged to do the work for the MTA. Thank you.
Thank you. The last speaker is Reverend Jacques DeGraff, first Vice President of the 100 Black Men.
Good morning. I'm here to continue a tradition that began when the Diversity Council first came. Sandra Wilkin and I were the first two to testify. And Chairman Ferrer, there's an insurance company whose symbol is good hands. And we see you sitting at the head of the table, and we know that we're in good hands. But you stand on powerful shoulders because Dr. Susan Metzger made a way. And she made a way with integrity and with dignity. And that's why this all-star lineup, this roster of leadership, has gotten up early in the morning to be here to salute both of you. But we're also here to back up, stand alongside, and stand in front of Mike Garner and the program and the staff at the MTA. Because we know that when we leave this building, there's a lot of other staff that aren't at this meeting, and we want them to know that there's a community that's been watching. That's what we said from the very beginning. We'll be watching you. And so we want you to hear three things. One, there will be those who say because it's an emergency, we need to waive some goals. Absolutely not true. And we stand foursquare behind the establishment and the continuance of goals. It's insulting to suggest that because there's an emergency, we don't need you. We really going back to the real team. No, that's what this whole thing is all about. We're part of the present, and we intend to be part of the future. Secondly, we're calling for the creation of an advisory council so that we might work hand in hand with you in between these meetings. We want you to have the heartbeat of what's happening and the pulse of what's happening in our communities. And lastly, we want to work alongside you, and we want you to know that we go to City Hall, we go to Albany, and we go to Washington to fight for these programs. So we want all of the staff to be encouraged. We want all of the leadership to know that you are not alone. But we want to reaffirm once again that we are watching you. And we continue to believe that the best is yet to come as you continue on this journey. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's it for this morning's speakers.
Thank you, Mike. Before we dive into the first item on our agenda, I want to thank the public speakers and declare myself also a member of the Mike Garner Fan Club and the Susan Metzger Fan Club. Acknowledge the enormously important work that she did as chair of this committee and continues to do as a member of this board. There might be a little confusion. What is Ferrer doing chairing this committee? Dr. Metzger indicated her desire to step aside from this responsibility. That came at approximately the same time as there was a vacancy in the chairmanship. Long story, but in fact I think it's a good story that the chairman of the MTA also chaired the diversity committee. It makes a statement about who we are and where we are as an organization. And so that's a responsibility I don't take lightly, and our organization does not take lightly, especially the commitment to ensure that with Sandy reconstruction, that we dot all the I's and cross all the T's and do what we need to do to include the real team, all of us, in the important work of serving our customers, whether they take a bridge or a tunnel, ride a train or a bus. So I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank Dr. Metzger for her important and impressive leadership and her mentoring of me, and for her continued support. But you'll be hearing more about that at the start of our board meeting, which I hope will continue on schedule at 10 a.m. Dr. Metzger wants to say something.
I want to thank all of you for your kind words. They really touched my heart. Monica said something that reminded me of a very important element of everything we've tried to do. It's thanking the staff for their hard work, but also because they know how to get you paid. That was so critical, but we learned it from you. You know, it was because you told us what the problems were that we knew what we had to fix. Now, the speed of a couple of things, like getting your certification and getting paid, two biggies, is really difficult to accomplish. And it's the staff that did that. Turning it around is far more difficult than anyone understands in an agency this size. But it was the partnership of you telling us what you needed to do and us trying to say to the staff, how can you possibly do this? And they found a way. So the reality is, it's really all of the good people in the Office of Civil Rights and the people in the agencies who make it happen and make it work that have done this turnaround. I know it looks like we've had a change in culture, but from the day I first came on the board, I knew that this was the culture of MTA. It just had to stand up and say, here we are, this is who we are. And I'm very glad that we've been able to at least start down that path and that you see it. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Moved.
Second, all in favor? Minutes are approved. Do we have any changes to the work plan, Mike?
Yes, sir, we do.
Sorry.
The approval of Title VI policies was originally scheduled to be for this month. However, it's going to be in June.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Our 2013 departmental goals update.
Yes, the first aspect is training. So the training program started last week. It's a 10-week course for all of our MWDBEs to come in and to learn how to do business at the MTA, but also how to become better business people. The mentor program, we are on a fast track. Thus far, we've awarded $35.4 million. We are going to award a second $20 million doing this year, which is going to end in June of 2013 for the third year. The program is getting national recognition, and we are extremely excited that the first contract in the federal mentor program was awarded by none other than MTA Capital CC. I want to thank Michael H. and Dave Cannon for turning that project around, and I'm pleased to announce that the $1.8 million contract will be awarded to a DBE. So this is changing the whole paradigm of the industry. We're empowering the MWDBEs who have been limited to working as subcontractors. The paradigm shift and change here will allow them to work as prime contractors. We are still working with the state in order to maximize our MWBE goals. We are currently at 22% MWBE inclusion. The governor has made it known that by March 31st, this month, that every state agency and state authority would award at least 20% of their contracts to MWBE firms. We are already at 22%, thanks to the agencies and the hard work of the staff. The MWDBE contract compliance system is on track. It will be finalized in the next 2 months. It's been a long journey, but we're here. Next item is a MWBE growth area. We view the rolling stock, the subway car, rail car, and bus manufacturers as an MWBE growth area. We had a meeting as recent as last Friday where we demanded that Nova Bus come down, and we read them the Riot Act and told them essentially that they are going to adapt to the way that the state does business and the way that we do business. And with transit, we're going to be flying up there, meeting with their board, sending a very, very strong message that not only are we happy that you open it up your manufacturing plant in Plattsburgh and created jobs, but we want to make sure that taxpayers' dollars, as we spend them, are being spent on every level. And so we view this area as a growth area. Last but not least, we are in the planning stages of planning a mentor program in the paratransit space. As many of you know, the paratransit space is a $6 billion operation. We feel as though that we need to treat the smaller firms the same way that we do the larger firms, and we think that we need to have a mentor program in order for us to create a larger pool of firms who can benefit in our paratransit operation.
Thank you, Mike. Next is a report on diversity outreach initiatives for 2013.
Good morning. In support of our departmental goals, the outreach initiatives for the first quarter have been in January. We participated in several outreach events, as you can see on the slide. And the 16th Annual Wall Street Project Summit was a participation by Mr. Garner at a Parity in Public Procurement Opportunities workshop, which included the MTA, Dormitory Authority, and several federal agencies. In February, we participated in Albany at the Black and Puerto Rican Annual Legislators Conference with several workshops. We took a lead on and assisted Long Island Railroad on the Discretionary Procurement Networking Forum, where there were over 250 firms participated in that event. We also had a presence, which is not noted on the slide, at the annual Latina Style Diversity Leaders Conference in an effort to include the Hispanic community. And we are continuing to do the Small Business Federal Program Orientation Sessions in-house event, which has been, which was in February, will happen again in March, towards the end of the month. If you look at March, you'll see that we have been very busy to include the Small Business Development Program, but also on March 21st, we are finalizing an event with EE Crews and Teleconstruction in an effort to bring in DBEs and into this outreach event for participation on the Second Avenue contract. We have, again, we'll have the Small Business Federal Program Orientation Session towards the end of the month. March 21st is kind of a busy day for us since we do have EE Crews along with agency-wide participation at the TDC Summit, which is the Transportation Diversity Council. We, March 27th, are finalizing an event, agency-wide participation for the Information Technology Discretionary Procurement Networking Forum. And that is our first quarter presentation.
And the MTA diversity programs?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to introduce Sean Moore, who will present the diversity program. With your permission, I'd like to introduce Sean Moore to the committee. She comes from the Tompkins County Human Rights Commission. She was an attorney director at that commission in Ithaca, New York. She is a diversity and EEO professional. She has, prior to that, she also served in the United States Navy, so she's also a veteran. So at this point, I would like to turn over to Sean.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here today. I attended my first Diversity Council event last month, and I have to say I want to commend MTA because it's something that I have been trying to do in Tompkins County for quite some time. And I have a deep appreciation for the fact that you have celebrations on behalf of the staff and you try to do it regularly throughout the year, and it's not just a one-time hit. So I just want to do a special commitment to all of you. We had a wonderful event last month, and it was for celebration for African American History Month and the 150-year celebration of the Emancipation Proclamation. We had a phenomenal historian here who had some of his artifacts He has over 1,500 artifacts from slavery time all the way through Jim Crow. We had a wonderful doo-wop, a musical performance here, and I want to also give a special thanks to all the staff who contribute to the food for African American History Month. I think I gained an additional 5 pounds that particular day. But it was a wonderful event. In March, we have an event coming up for we're doing an intermingling of Irish heritage and Women's History Month, and it's going to be held here March 20th at 12:30, and it's a special salute to the women officers in the MTA police force. So I please hope that you can take the time to be here. They're going to share their stories, their challenges, their rewards of wearing a uniform. As stated before, I have 23 years of service in the United States Navy, so I know some of the challenges that they face. So I hope that you can have the time to come here on March 20th. We also have an event coming up. We're still working on it for Jewish Heritage Month, but stay tuned. So thank you.
Thank you. And welcome.
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you.
First met at the African American Heritage event. Glad to again welcome you to your important work here at the MTA. Next is a report on certification activity.
Good morning. What we have here is a comparison of the last 3 years of the number of certification applications received. You would note in 2012 we received a total of 130, which is an increase over what we received in 2011 and 2010. So there is a steady increase in applications coming into us.
So what do you attribute that increase?
A couple of things. I think outreach is very successful. They're letting people know that we're here. We do certification sessions on a monthly basis where we actually walk people through how to apply for certification, what you need to do, how to be successful in doing it. Also, of course, what else is going on, particularly now, is with the upcoming of the Tappan Zee Bridge project, we're getting more and more applications, and we anticipate a real increase in the number of applications. So I think all of those factors address why we're getting more.
And the mentor programs also. DBEs who have been historically limited to working as subcontractors now find the opportunity that we have for them to work at as prime contractors.
Okay, now what we have here is the actual activity for the last 3 years, again doing a comparison. In 2012, we certified 78 firms, we denied 7. 30 applications were returned to firms because they failed to cooperate, providing us with the information we needed. There were no applications deemed ineligible, and 11 firms withdrew their applications for various reasons. So we processed a total of 126 applications during 2012. But I want to note here that this is really significant because I was working with half of the staff. I was down 2 managers. One manager was working a majority of his time in outreach, and I was out for a period of time on short-term disability. Even with that, we had an increase in the number of applications processed. So this is good. The good news is I'm almost at full capacity. We hired 1 new person, and I'm anticipating another person coming on next month, which is very important, as I said, because of Tappan Zee Bridge. The number of applications coming in on a daily basis is unbelievable. Now, here's the good news, because no matter whether or not we certify firms, the important thing is whether or not they get contracts. All right, so what we have here are contract awards to DBE firms certified from the period of 2010 to 2012. During that period of time, that 3-year period, we certified 218 firms. And the number of firms that were certified and received federally funded subcontracts was 20. The actual number of contracts was 39. So 20 firms received contracts, but the number of contracts was 39. That amount was $23,013,142. Also, there were 14 firms certified as DBE during that period of time who had dual certification, meaning they were also certified by Empire State as either MBEs or WBEs. And they received contract awards on New York State contracts totaling $23,898,218, representing 41 subcontract awards. The grand total of contract awards in dollars for FTA and New York State contracts was $46,911,360 during that 3-year period of time.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Now a report. Any questions? Now a report on EEO activities for the year 2012.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Starting on page 24, we highlight the job categories and across the agencies where there's underutilization of minorities groups and women as of December 31st, 2012. There has been some improvement, but as you can see, there is still work that needs to be done. On page 28, we indicate how many minorities and women were hired, and the good news is that almost 71% of the total new hires are minorities. 21% of the new hires are women. This is as of December 31st, where 4,000 employees were hired. So of the 71% of minorities that were hired, 40.6% are African Americans and almost 17% are Hispanic. Happy to report that the MTA Bridges and Tunnels hired the highest percentage of women at 64%, and Bridges and Tunnels also hired the highest percentage of minorities at 91%. Just to note that when we indicate minorities, that include Bridges and Tunnels.
Take a victory lap.
Just wanted to point out that when we indicate minorities, that includes women minorities and male and female minorities. And when we say women, it includes minority women and non-minority women. Page 30 shows the EEO in Title VI complaints. As for 2012, there were a total of 361 EEO complaints, citing 556 separate allegations. One complaint can have more than one allegation. Of the 30 and 61 complaints, 169 were filed externally at the outside agencies, and 192 were filed internally with EEO officers at the agencies. Of the external complaints, 23% cited disability discrimination, and 21% were other types of miscellaneous discrimination, and also 20% was race and color discrimination. Of the 192 internal complaints, other types of miscellaneous discrimination was 21%, sexual harassment 25%, and race and color discrimination 28% of the allegations. The MTA and its agencies also handled 43 Title VI complaints, which cited 50 separate allegations, and again, one complaint can have more than one type of allegation. And of the 43 complaints, race discrimination was 68%, most frequently cited for 68% of the time.
Please turn on your mic.
Oh, thank you. Before we leave the EEO section, I just wanted to let everyone know that we're taking steps to recruit more women and minorities in the engineering and construction area. And to that end, on March 19th, we're having an engineering job fair at 2 Broadway. We are very excited. The work that has been done by Transit in helping us is to be commended. Aleida Myers, who is the person in charge of sourcing for Transit, who couldn't be here today, has been just phenomenal. She also helped us previously where we were trying to recruit women and minorities for our maintenance entry-level position. I reported previously that we had the civil service examination for that title in October. 425 persons applied, which was a record. We're still in the process of the actual eligibility list being established so that we can use it and begin to hire. And this job fair for the engineering titles, we hope will result in hiring about 30 engineers. These are going to be zeroing in on the remaining work we must do on the capital program, as well as the repair, the post-Sandy repairs. So we urge all of you to reach out to all, they're from entry level to top managerial levels, and the job fair we trust will be quite successful. The posting that we put out on the Bridges and Tunnels website has already resulted in 300 applications from engineers. So we expect that the job fair will bring at least as many, and that will allow us to create more positions. I recently arranged for the chief engineer, Joe Keane, to speak at a conference held by the Professional Women in Construction on March 6th. The Port Authority also participated. Primarily private sector firms participated, and he was very well received. It was a very exciting program. We sent 3 of our new female engineers to participate so that they would get a taste of the exciting things that are happening in construction in the city, and they came back duly impressed. So it's a really good shot in the arm for morale, and at the same time an opportunity that we have to further extend the representation. The diversity in the engineering department is outstanding. We have people from all over the world. We have about 40 languages represented in engineering, and we intend to keep that growing even further. And so again, that's March 19th at 2 Broadway. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is an update on the MTA's Small Business Mentoring Program.
Let me mention also before we do that, I just wanted to mention that that the all-agency roundtable, we need to be more consistent with scheduling those meetings to improve the outreach and the recruitment of areas in which we have a gap. Also, in the conversation with both Nuri and Kathy, we both agreed that if we're going to improve with our hiring, that needs to really be owned by the HR directors. And so with Maggie Carner having a conversation with Kathy, and I need to in fact circle back, there needs to be a round table of HR directors talking about not only what the issues and the problems are, but what the solutions are in order for us to improve our hiring. Let me also give Howard Permit a special shout out with the hiring of a Mr. Bob Rodriguez, who's sitting here. Mr. Rodriguez, along with Sean Moore, they're both superstars, and they're both the wave of the future at the MTA. And so give us thanks to Howard Permit for his excellent hire. Also, I want to introduce two new staff hires who are going to be working for the MTA, whose main focus is going to be on the day-to-day of the mentor program. The first person is Nadir Jones, who comes to the MTA via the U.S. Commerce Department and the Port Authority, where his focus was the recruitment of DBEs and the building of those businesses. The second person is Georgia Clearly, who comes from Disney, who worked in diversity and with small contractors. And they're...
Let us all see you.
Stand up.
It may be the last time you get applause at an MTA. Enjoy it.
So George is going to be baptized by fire because he's going to give the overview of the Small Business Mentoring Program update.
Thank you, everyone. Michael, thank you. This is my first time, and I just wanted to thank Michael for his courage in bringing me on board. I know it's been a long time. We had talked a while, and I'm finally here and looking forward to the task at hand. With regard to the mentoring program, the update, as of January 31st, we have a total of 60 contracts that have been awarded, totaling $35.4 million.
What period is that?
That's from, what was it, January?
Is it over a
one year period.
This is for
the third 2 years.
From the inception of the program.
From the inception of the program. I'm sorry. 45 of these contracts are awarded to 39 New York state certified MWBE firms, totaling $23.6 million. Of the 39 MWBE firms, 10 are certified DBEs. We have 160 firms that have been pre-qualified in the program, and of that, 33 firms are now pending, have pending contracts, as well as pre-qualification coming up.
I would also like to mention that we had a big all-agency meeting on yesterday, that we are moving forward with the focus of ensuring that of the Hurricane Sandy projects that can be designed for both the state-funded mentor program and the federally funded mentor program, there's a focus on that. And so as we move forward, these two programs are going to be populated with new projects.
Doing the report on contract compliance.
I am. Good morning, everyone. The MTA reports to the Federal Transit Administration on a semi-annual basis. And what we report on is our DBE participation in federally funded contracts. The report consists of new awards and payments on completed contracts. For federal fiscal year 2013, MTA's overall goal is 17%. From October 2012 through December 2012, over $209 million was awarded on federally funded on the federally funded portion of contracts, with almost $30 million, or 14%, being awarded to certified DBEs. Also, from October 2012 through December 2012, over $8.5 million was paid to a prime contractor for one completed federally funded contracts. Payments to certified DBEs totaled $1.5 million, which brings us to 18%. For the state fund, we have an additional chart. This chart will show the DBE participation beginning in October 2008 to September 2012. So this is just to give you an overview of what the activity, what the DBE participation was during those years, and the total amount of the awards and the total DBE awards. Next chart. For New York State, we report to the Empire State Development Corporation on a quarterly basis. And what we report on is MWBE participation on all contracts. The report includes data on contracts with goals and MWBE contract payments. Our goal, MTA's established an overall MWBE goal of 20% for state fiscal year of 20%. From April 2012 through December 2012, approximately $590 million was awarded to, in New York State funded contracts, with over $154 million, or 26%, awarded to certified MWBEs. Also, from April 2012 through December 2012, over $906.5 million was paid to prime contractors, with approximately $196 million, or 22%, paid to MWBEs. We also have a chart reflecting the MWBE participation starting in April of 2009 through December 2012. As you will notice, MWBE participation has increased almost every state fiscal year.
Let me also just point out, if you look at the total number of contract awards for last year, it's $158 million. If you look at, and those were for 4 quarters. If you look at the first 3 quarters of this year, we have exceeded that. We are currently at $195 million. And there's a big push to make sure that there are a lot of awards during this present quarter. So we have already exceeded last year's totals during the first 3 quarters.
The next chart is on discretionary procurements. We had an award of $214.4 million of total awards, and 18.2 were MWBE awards, which was about 8%. MWBE discretionary awards were 9.7 million, and that was a total of 5%.
We still have some work to do in this area, and we are working with all of the agencies. Let me just I'm pleased to announce that that Jim Henley and the other HR legal departments are now going to use this tool They went out via a RFP to hire smaller minority and women-owned law firms. And so this new vehicle is going to be allow us to increase contract awards to small law firms. Also, we are in conversations talking about using the same vehicle to hire certified minority architects and engineers in architect firms who can design projects for our mentor program.
Opportunity to transition into a report on financial and legal services diversity.
Yes. So legal fees paid, we are currently at 14%, and I am optimistic that by using this new vehicle, we are going to increase opportunities and results with respect to legal fees for our state certified MWBE law firms. Asset fund managers.
Could you stay with that a second,
Yes.
Michael? Because it's not. This reflects, I think, a previous discussion we've had on this committee, where it's not the number of firms that we're necessarily concerned with, but how much the fees are paid and where they're paid. That tells a different kind and a more revealing kind of story, and I want to congratulate our Office of Civil Rights again and Diversity for helping to make that happen.
With respect to our asset fund managers, we're still improving. We are currently at over 20% in a certain segment, and the other segment in which there's a shortage of MWBE asset fund managers, we are at 8.9 and 10.1 respectively, and that's the area in which we need to focus on improving. Yes.
This is still an improvement. It's just not moving as quickly as we had intended it to.
Right. And I bypass our underwriter fees. We are currently at 16%, and I want to give Pat McCoy a shout out because we are improving in this area. The issue is that as the underwriters get more robust, the new state personal net worth income limit now is not allowing for the major firms to be recertified, and so we're losing underwriter firms based upon their growth, and so
which is attributed to us,
yeah,
in large part.
Well, overall also. Yeah. So, for example, Siebert, Bradford, Schenck, and Loop Capital are no longer certified minority-owned firms because the growth of their company, because of the $3.5 million personal net worth cap, is excluding them from being recertified.
But if we're going to lose somebody, that's the way I'd like to lose them.
Right. Definitely. I'm in agreement.
By the way, it's also worth mentioning that conversations have taken place between me and our CFO with respect to rebidding. It's about that time for underwriters, financial advisors, open up that opportunity once again for other people to do business with the MTA.
For our capital projects between and for the year of 2012, January through December, DBE participation was at 14.9%, and MWBE participation for the year was 31.3%.
Yes, sir. Every year we reaffirm our commitment to EEO. These are the policies for 2013 which have been signed, and then they will be disseminated to the employees.
Let me also say that it is the fourth year anniversary since my coming, and there were times in which I didn't know if I was coming and going in the early years. And I also want to thank Dr. Metzger for making my journey more effective with her leadership and her vision in order to adapt and change the way that we did business with respect to our contract awards. And I want to just also give a special shout out to the staff, because it is rare that you find staff who work in government who work 7, 8 o'clock at night in order to get the job done. And so I want to applaud the hard-working MTA staff, because it is often said that superstar athletes win scoring titles, but teams win championships. Thank you.
Before we adjourn, I'd like to thank again Dr. Metzger and our colleague Bob Bickford, a longtime member of the Diversity Committee, for his work, and we're joined by Board Member Norman Brown. And if there is no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second, all in favor. We're adjourned.